Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai was one of the greatest sages in history and among the greatest Tannaim, who lived about 1900 years ago in the land of Israel. Rabbi Shimon was born in the land of Israel then, under the rule of the Roman Empire, after the destruction of the Second Temple. Many laws and stories are cited in his name in the Mishnah and other sources. Various works are attributed to him, such as Midrash Halacha Sifri, the Mechilta de Rashbi, and the Zohar. His father, Yochai, was an important man who was close to the authorities. Some say that Rabbi Shimon had a younger brother named Rabbi Yaakov ben Yochai, who was also a sage mentioned in the Midrash. There is a story about a student in the yeshiva of Rabbi Gamliel in Yavne, the head of the Sanhedrin. This student asked Rabbi Yehoshua ben Hananiah and Rabbi Gamliel about the importance of the evening prayer and whether it is considered optional or obligatory. The question sparked a great controversy among the sages, and as a result, Rabban Gamliel was temporarily removed from his position as president, and he was replaced by Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. The Talmud relates that the student who asked the question in the study hall was Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, who was still young at the time. Rabbi Shimon married the daughter of Rabbi Yossi ben Lekunya. Rabbi Shimon had a son and a daughter, Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon and his daughter, who married Rabbi Pinhas ben Yair. The Midrash recounts that after his marriage, Rabbi Shimon, together with his friend Rabbi Hananiah ben Hahinai, went to study Torah with Rabbi Akiva ben Yosef in Bnei Brak. There he studied for 13 years, during which time he sent letters home to make sure everything was all right. Rabbi Shimon was considered the foremost disciple of Rabbi Akiva. After this period, a rebellion broke out in the land of Israel against the Roman rule, which had imposed harsh decrees on the Jews. This rebellion became known as the Bar Kokhba Revolt. It was led by Shimon ben Kosba with the support of Rabbi Akiva. In the end, the revolt failed and hundreds of thousands of Jews were killed. Among them were great sages who perished, and some of them became known as the 10 Martyrs. Among them was Rabbi Akiva, whose flesh was combed with iron combs. Rabbi Akiva had many students, but almost all of them died in a plague during the short period between Passover and Shavuot. At that time, the world was desolate of Torah. Rabbi Akiva went to the south and ordained a small number of students who upheld the Torah. Among them was Rabbi Shimon. At a certain point, Rabbi Akiva was captured by the Romans and imprisoned in the prison in Caesarea. During those days, Rabbi Shimon went to his teacher, Rabbi Akiva, and pleaded with him to teach him Torah. After Rabbi Akiva was executed, Rabbi Shimon and several of his companions were ordained in secret, also by Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, despite the great danger, since the decree was that anyone who ordained or was ordained would be sentenced to death. Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava ordained Rabbi Shimon and his companions between two great mountains, between Usha and Shvarim. In the end, Rabbi Yehuda took the risk upon himself for the sake of the Torah. Rabbi Shimon and his companions were saved and ensured the continuity of the Torah for future generations. But Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava was killed with great cruelty by the Romans, and he is counted among the 10 martyrs. Rabbi Shimon was among those who strongly opposed the rule of the Romans in the land of Israel. In the Talmud, it is told that once 3 of the great sages were sitting together, Rabbi Yehuda, son of Rabbi Eli, Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Halafta, and Rabbi Shimon, son of Yochai. Present with them was Rabbi Shimon's student. His name was Rabbi Yehuda ben Gerim. The sages discussed the actions of the Romans and the development of the land by them. Rabbi Yehuda praised some of their deeds. Rabbi Yossi remained silent and did not respond, while Rabbi Shimon spoke out forcefully and said that everything the Romans did, they did only for their own benefit. Rabbi Yehuda ben Gerim heard these words and went to tell his relatives. Eventually, the matter reached the authorities, and they issued a decree against Rabbi Shimon. From that point on, Rabbi Shimon's life changed completely. After the authorities learned about the things Rabbi Shimon had said, he and his son were forced to hide. Rabbi Shimon hid with his son, Rabbi Elazar, at first in the study hall, and his wife would bring them water and food. And when the decree became more severe, Rabbi Shimon feared that the Romans might capture his wife, torture her, and force her to reveal where they were hiding. Therefore they fled to a cave and hid there for 12 years. Some say this was in the area of Lod, while others say it was in the area of Pikian or the Kinneret. Miracles were shown to them in the cave. A carob tree was created for them, and some say also date palms from which they ate, and a spring of water from which they drank. Throughout those 12 years, they studied Torah with their entire bodies covered in sand up to their necks, and only during prayer would they come out, put on their clothes, and pray. Eliyahu the prophet would come to them twice a day and teach them Torah. No one knew where they were. One day, the sages in the study hall were discussing a question, and they could not explain it. Rabbi Yehuda, son of Eli, Rabbi Shimon's friend, stood up and said, "It's a pity that Bar Yochai is not here with us, and no one knows where he is. And even if someone does know, he is forbidden to reveal it." In the morning, Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda, saw birds flying, and among them was a single dove. He stood up and said, "Dove, faithful dove, since the time of the flood you have symbolized the holy people. Go and carry out a mission for me to Bar Yochai, wherever he may be." The dove turned around and stood before him. Rabbi Yossi wrote a note and handed it to her. The dove took the note in her beak and went to Rabbi Shimon. She placed the note under her wing. Rabbi Shimon saw the note, wept together with his son Rabbi Elazar, and said, "I weep for the separation from my friends, and I weep for these matters that will not be revealed to them. What will the future generations do?" After 12 years, during which Rabbi Shimon and his son Rabbi Elazar stayed in hiding, Eliyahu the prophet appeared at the entrance of the cave and said, "Who will inform Bar Yochai that the emperor has died and his decree is annulled?" Rabbi Shimon and his son Rabbi Elazar heard this and left the cave. When Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai saw people neglecting Torah study and engaging in plowing and sowing, he looked at them intensely, and they were burned. A heavenly voice came forth and said, "Did you come out to destroy my world? Return to the cave." So Rabbi Shimon and his son Elazar returned to the cave for another 12 months. At that time, Rabbi Pinhas ben Yair, his son-in-law, and some say the father-in-law of Rabbi Shimon, was sitting with Rabbi Rehumahi on the shore of the Kinneret. Rabbi Rehumahi was a very old man and could not see because of his advanced age. Rabbi Rehumahi sent Rabbi Pinhas and said to him, "Go, my son, go and follow Rabbi Shimon, for now is the right time." Rabbi Pinhas left Rabbi Rehumahi and prepared to board a boat on the Kinneret. He and 2 men were with him. Suddenly he saw 2 birds flying over the sea. He called out to them, "Birds, birds, you who fly over the sea, have you seen the place where Rabbi Shimon is?" Then he called again, "Birds, birds, go and bring me an answer." Meanwhile, Rabbi Shimon went out and sat on the steps at the entrance of the cave and saw a hunter catching birds. Suddenly, Rabbi Shimon heard a heavenly voice from above calling out, "Demos, demos," meaning release, release. And immediately the bird was saved. And when he heard the heavenly voice say, "Spakula, spakula," meaning capture, capture, the bird was caught. Rabbi Shimon said, "If a bird is not caught without a decree from heaven, how much more so is this true for a human soul?" Rabbi Shimon returned to the cave and said to his son, "The judgment of the wicked in heaven lasts 12 months. A heavenly voice came forth and said to Rabbi Shimon and his son, "Leave your cave." They came out, but this time wherever Rabbi Elazar would strike, Rabbi Shimon would heal. Rabbi Shimon said to his son, "My son, the world is sufficient for me and you. Not all are on our level." At that time, Rabbi Pinhas was waiting in a boat at sea, and the birds were flying over. Rabbi Pinhas waited. The birds returned, and in the beak of one of them was a small note. On the note it was written, "Rabbi Shimon and his son Rabbi Elazar have left the cave where they were hiding." Upon leaving the cave, they saw a man bringing 2 myrtle branches in honor of Shabbat, one resembling "Remember the Shabbat" and one resembling "Observe the Shabbat." In this way, they saw how beloved the commandments are to the Jewish people, so they were at ease. Rabbi Shimon from before and after the cave is not the same Rabbi Shimon, but rather the greatest of the holy sages. From here on, the Torah began to spread enormously. When Rabbi Shimon left the cave, he headed toward Tiberias together with his son Eleazar. When they arrived in Tiberias, Rabbi Pinhas ben Yair, his son-in-law, came out to greet them. Rabbi Pinhas saw that Rabbi Shimon's body was full of cracks and wounds. Rabbi Pinhas began to weep, and his tears fell on Rabbi Shimon's wounds, causing him pain. Rabbi Pinhas said to him, "Woe is me that I have seen you in such a state." Rabbi Shimon replied to him, "Fortunate are you to have seen me like this, for if not for this, you would not have found so much Torah within me." At first, Rabbi Shimon would pose a question, and Rabbi Pinhas would provide him with 12 answers. But now Rabbi Pinhas poses a question, and Rabbi Shimon provides him with 24 answers. Immediately, he brought him into the bathhouse and tended to him with care. After all this, Rabbi Shimon said, "Since a miracle has been performed for me, I will go and rectify something." Rabbi Shimon went and purified and permitted certain places in Tiberias that were under suspicion of impurity because of the dead who had been buried in the area. Afterwards, he also passed through Migdal, Tisbiah, and the Beit Netopha Valley in the lower Galilee. One day, Rabbi Shimon went out to the marketplace and saw his student, Rabbi Yehuda ben Gerim, who had gone and told his words to his relatives. As a result, the matter reached the Roman authorities, and Rabbi Shimon was forced to go into hiding. Rabbi Shimon looked at him and said, "Is this one still in the world?" Rabbi Shimon looked at him, and he passed away. Rabbi Shimon established a yeshiva in Tekoa and taught in many places throughout the land of Israel. Among his prominent students were his grandson, Rabbi Eleazar, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, the compiler of the Mishnah, and Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda of Kfar Akko. It is told about one of Rabbi Shimon's students that he went abroad and returned with great wealth. His fellow students saw him and became envious, and they asked Rabbi Shimon for permission to leave the land of Israel. Rabbi Shimon took them out to a certain valley in Meron and said, "Valley, valley, fill yourself with gold coins." Immediately the valley began to fill with gold coins. He said to them, "If it is gold you seek, here is gold. Take it for yourselves." No one took any, because they feared that anyone who took the gold would do so at the expense of their share in the world to come. When the time came for Rabbi Shimon to depart from this world, his students gathered at his home. Rabbi Shimon said to them, "Now is a time of favor, and I can reveal to you secrets and mysteries that I have not disclosed to you until today." He began to reveal sacred secrets until he reached the verse, "For there the Lord commanded the blessing, life forever." When he reached the word life, his soul ascended to the heavens. At that moment, the room was filled with a great and powerful light, so intense that his students could not look at it. Rabbi Abba said, "That entire day I fell to the ground and wept loudly." After the fire subsided, I saw Rabbi Shimon, righteous and holy, wrapped in a tallit and lying on his right side, his face smiling. Rabbi Eleazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, stood up, took his father's hands, and kissed them. And Rabbi Abba kissed the earth beneath his feet. Rabbi Hia said, "Until now the holy luminary watched over us. Now the time has come to attend to his honor." They placed Rabbi Shimon's body on a bed, and Rabbi Abba and his son Rabbi Eleazar cared for him. When they brought out the bed, it rose into the air, and fire burned before it, and a voice was heard, "Come and gather for the celebration of Rabbi Shimon." At that moment, there was immense joy in the upper worlds. When the bed was brought into the burial cave in Meron, a voice was heard from within the cave, "This is the man who shakes the earth and stirs up kingdoms. How many accusers in the heavens are calm today thanks to you?" This is Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, whom God praises every day. Blessed is his portion above and below. Many years later, Rabbi Eleazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, fell ill and passed away. Rabbi Eleazar lay in the cave in the attic in Gush Halav for no less than 18 and no more than 24 years. When two people would come for judgment, they would stand at the entrance. One would state his case, and the other would state his case. And then a voice would come out, "So-and-so, you are liable. So-and-so, you are acquitted." One day, Rabbi Eleazar's wife was quarreling with her neighbor. The neighbor said to her, "May you be like your husband who was not given burial." Then the sages said, "All of this was certainly not proper behavior." At that time, Rabbi Shimon appeared to the people of Meron in a dream and asked that they bring his son to be buried beside him. And so, Rabbi Elazar was buried in his father's cave. Every year, tens of thousands would make a pilgrimage to the tomb of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai to prostrate themselves at his grave and pray for both communal and personal salvation. Rabbi Shimon is worthy of relying upon in times of distress.